This new AI editor tool is crushing all traditional code editors. But why? What lacked in the previous editors that created this gap? Is this new editor worthy of attention? What forced all the developers and engineers to jump to something completely new in the market? What are those features that the competition has not been able to deliver, and why has the coding job become much better and easier than it used to be? In this video, we are going to cover all these questions. So, let's get started. The most popular AI tool that ever came out has to be ChatGPT, which really started this whole AI discussion for various uses. If you've used it to generate code or help you out on your project, you will probably agree that it still struggles with complex projects. It's not that it can't do it, it's just that it requires a lot of back and forth instructions to really understand a complex codebase, and it's not really built to be an AI assistant. Well, the AI world has been closely watching, and another tool that has recently surfaced is Cursor AI. This has been a huge help because guess what now? You no longer need to have another ChatGPT window open on the side. Everything is consolidated in this tool that allows you a dedicated space where you can fine-tune your ideas for your project. The first time when I started to use it, the immediate thing I spotted was the multifunctional feature where not only could I generate code, but also highlight sections or get suggestion for edits, or altogether completely write my project. I remember back in the old days whenever I was stuck with a coding issue or problem, my best bet was Stack Overflow. I would often post questions to the community and would have to wait until someone who was able to get into my mindset to fully get my code logic and then accurately answer the question based on that. Even then, sometimes it wasn't possible because they would ask me to share logs or code snippets, etc. to understand my code base. I mean, apart from all that, my code had to be put out there in the public with my name tagged on it for someone to review and answer. Now I can just put that into Cursor and it magically scans through my project and provides me with credible and reliable information. It's a really important point which makes all the difference in my eyes. The reason Cursor works great for me is because it can really understand my code base. That alone gives me plenty of options to play with. For instance, I can now talk to my codebase and get very specific information about my project. I mean, this was impossible for me back in the day. Having to look through loads of code and classes to find that one single class or method, it was so frustrating and painful. For me, this is instantly a huge win just because of that, as it saves several minutes of my frustration in finding specific classes and methods. I decided to test out the capabilities of Cursor by creating a tic-tac-toe game from scratch. The first thing I did is open the editor and then pop open the chat window. If you're using Windows, you can use the hotkey Control plus K, or if you're a Mac user, then it's Command plus K. Since the Cursor brags to understand simple English language, I am going to give a simple command: build a tic-tac-toe game. And just for it to add a little more detail, I am also going to ask it to create a unique CSS design. I notice Cursor immediately gets to work and starts generating the code in seconds. You've got to admit that the AI element is surely fun to watch when it's writing all this code for you at the speed of light. So I can see it's creating a few files for me. First index file, then the CSS file for the custom design, and finally the JavaScript, which I believe is for the game logic. And that's about it. It's done this work in seconds, which could have probably taken us at least an hour. We hit push, and the app goes live, and I can see it in action working flawlessly, which is pretty cool. Now, one of the hottest tools on the market these days is GitHub Copilot, and I wonder how Cursor compares to that. Well, let's find out. Something that I immediately spotted is that Copilot is another AI assistant. But can it also help me write files to the disk? Nope, it can't. Therefore, it becomes very similar to tools like ChatGPT and Gemini, which makes you keep going back and forth copying code from and pasting into your project. Short story, it does work. But you have to keep going back and forth to find the perfect output you're after, and then paste it in your project. One of the standout differences is how Cursor minimizes the number of clicks and navigation. While Copilot often requires you to open Copilot chat and click around, with Cursor, you can perform quick actions using keyboard shortcuts. For instance, just hit Command K to generate code or Command L to chat with the AI about your code. Plus, Cursor has a much better contextual awareness, recognizing existing components throughout your project more effectively than Copilot. Here's yet another example. I literally just told it in plain English that I needed a tool to convert images to text using snippets, and instantly, it built an entire web application around that with no problem at all. And get this, it wasn't just single file stuff either. I gave it a few instructions, and Cursor seamlessly handled multi-file editing across the whole project. It's like I described what I needed, and it just went ahead and did all the heavy lifting for me. Honestly, it felt like magic. For this last segment, I am going to list down all the top features of this tool that I found during my review. The first spot goes to the fact that Cursor is content-aware, which makes it predict and complete my code, making the coding process faster. Second, the tool offers real-time explanations and documentation directly within the editor without having to go to external pages. Third spot, for all those working on complex projects. This is where the tool really shines. While there are plenty of options for debugging tools, but Cursor AI has a powerful debugging capability that can highlight bugs and suggest fixes. Last but not the least, Cursor understands your codebase, which allows you to reference specific files or documents to enhance code suggestions. That brings us to the end of this video. Download Cursor and try it out. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you'd like me to review any other tool in my next video, please comment. I will do my best to try and cover it in one of my sessions.